Welcome to Sassafras Valley. What's the diameter on these finials there? Or those, yeah.
About 3 inches.
3 inches?
Yeah.
Same way with the fluted columns?
Yeah.
All right. The columns, the columns along the front of the nightstand are going to be laminates of 1-inch boards. That'll give me approximately 3 inches of thickness and about 3 inches of width here. They need to be laminated. Then I'll clip the corners on the bandsaw, make them into an octagon, and turn them around. And after that, I'll put them into a fixture, and we'll gonna have to work on that glue bottle, and put flutes in them. So I'll put you on time lapse while I glue these things up. Well, it's raining out this morning. Now that I've got these cut into hexagons, I'm going to take and make a 3/4 inch or a 3/4 round piece and a 1/4 piece, and then I'll join them back together with paper so that after it's turned I can knock this out, and this will be the front molding and this will be the molding for the rear. So I suppose I'm ready, but ready or not, here she be. position. Cut the other side. There's the 3/4 that I need. That'll make the front column. And this is the 1/4 that will make the back. So the question for me becomes, how do I put that in there and hold it while I turn it and then be able to remove it whenever I'm done? So what I do is I take cardstock. Actually, it's not really, it's cardstock thickness, but it's actually some postcard, greeting card stock. It's a little thicker than regular paper, and it's softer, so it'll break apart easier. And I just take and put a piece, glue a piece on each side. And then I'll lay my other part in, clamp it, let the glue dry. That'll hold it together good enough that it can be turned, and then all I have to do is just hit it with a chisel, pardon me, whenever I'm finished, and it'll pop right out of there. So I'm going to go ahead and get that glued up. I think that'll hold it. So I'm just gonna let it set up, and I'll be ready to turn it. In the meantime, I've got that other one cut out, and it's ready for me to turn it down. Well, that's rough. Now I'll size it. Well, this is the carrier for the column fluting jig that I made. It's relatively simple. It's just a box. Let me grab a tape measure here. This column that's in there is 19¼ inches long, and I suppose I could add an additional 9¾ inches to it, plus another 3/4. So I got that would make it a total of right at, I could do almost a 30-inch column in this box. But I turned these down, cut them off at 19¼ inches. I only need 16¼ so I'll take the good parts out of these, and you'll notice that at the start end here, that when you plunge it in, it may kind of makes a mess. And because I have hardware here on the end that I use to index it with, I stop it short of the end, so there's always going to be a little waste on the end anyway to start with. But anyway, I'll go ahead, and as I take this apart, I'll show you how this is made so that it can index. How it'll hold them solid, and then I can rotate it to index it from one to the next. And I'll go ahead and loosen this locating screw, or I guess that's what you'd call it. It locks into detents, holes in the column, and I can then turn this column, and you can see each of these lines here aligns with one of the flutes. Okay, then when we get over here, we see that there's a line that's in between marked with an X. That's the one that shows where this indicator is screwed into the column, and it's between the flutes so that I don't hit it with a router bit. But I'll go ahead and take that off, and we'll mount this other column here and get it ready for routing. Okay, so here is the positioning template, and you can see there's a screw that goes in from this side, and like I said, that screw will be lined up between the flutes, because you don't want to hit that screw with the router. Okay, and then each one of these locators, and I have it turned 90 degrees to the side. As you can see from here to here, it's 90 degrees to the side, but it will accurately locate one at top dead center. And there is a mark on here. It's hard to see it, and I guess I could make it a little bolder. We'll align with one of the marks that go down the center line of each of the flutes. And then I rotate it to the next one and lock it in, okay, with the positioning screw. It's a fairly simple design. Now, this center screw here, this is a, what is it? Is it 15/64, I believe, a 64th smaller than a quarter, so that, not in here, but in this part, so that when it gets to there, it threads in to give me an additional ability to hold it. Now, this is the lathe center hole, so I know it's it aligns with the center line of the part. As you can see, this is where the part's going to get knocked out, but that is just held in place with a deck screw. I just drill that out a little bit, drive a deck screw in it. I wouldn't drill it out, except that these parts here are held in with just paper, and I didn't want it to split it. But anyway, so I need to install this on this, and I've already drilled the holes, and I'm ready to install it on this one. Okay, so I'll get this installed back in this fixture, and then I'll show you how this fixture works underneath the router slab. Alrighty, well, it gives me 2 columns. And pull this back here. Before I pull it out of here, I'm going to inspect it a little bit. Pretty clean cut so far. Here, let me lift it out of here. Lay it up here where I can get a good look at it. Pretty smooth. No gouges. So far, no tear out. Little place right in there I'm going to have to sand. Okay, so it gives me 2 of them. So I guess the protocol now is going to be to cut them to length, and I'll need to put a chamfer around the bottom edge of it here. But I can't do that till I get all the other parts put in place and get these so I can cut these to exactly the right length to fit between the finials, or anyway the turn pieces that go with them. So pretty happy with it, and like I said, I've used this for a couple other projects. Simple, cheap, easy to make. Having a shopsmith to be able to do the boring on the index here so that they're exactly where I wanted them was handy. But there's probably an easier way to do this, way to do it without having a fixture, but you know, once I get one made, I can do veining. I can adapt this thing so that I can put the part in on an angle, so if I have a tapered column, I'd be able to do veining or fluting on it. And having this overhead stand for the router allows me to adjust for height, for whatever height I need, so I can put that bit right down where I wanted it. Now, I'm just going to mention one more thing. All of the sawdust, if I could put the cover in here, it would absorb all that sawdust. I wouldn't have had hardly any of it out here. But this bit right here has just a little bit too short of a shaft. I couldn't extend it far enough that when I pushed it down, it would clear that cover. That's the reason why all the sawdust is out here. Oh, not a big deal. But anyway, that's the way I flute columns. And I'd like to have your ideas, if you have some, as to an easier way to do that and get them so that they look pretty good. Well, do appreciate you watching, and I hope you have nothing less than a wonderful day.